other person, whether you're in practice or not. When you're in a submission, there's a fine line between do I tap or do I keep my mindset that it doesn't hurt and stay strong through the submission so I can fight out of it, and then I have the confidence to go into a fight, know I can fight out of that submission. Or I'll never challenge myself and tap right away because I'm scared to get hurt. Come on, as athletes we can't be scared to get hurt, so it's kind of a happy balance that you gotta find. But the biggest thing is just taking care of our bodies equally costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to get the therapy because therapy is not free. And people don't fix us for free. It always costs money. And that's money that's taken away from you that you don't make to train. We don't make money to train. We only make money to show up for the fight. So a lot of fighters have a hard time paying that money out to keep their body healthy because we only make so much money for the fight.
How much did it cost you to get that?
Thousands, and I have only the UFC to thank for that, to be honest. They paid for every ounce of my sports therapy with Gavin McMillan and Sports Science Lab. They've paid for all my surgeries. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here today. So don't get this twisted. I'm not bashing the UFC by any means. They're the reason I'm standing here. They're the reason I have these microphones in front of me. They're the reason why my life's changed, why I was able to buy a home, why I'm able to drive around in a GTR that I won as a win bonus for beating up Demetrius Johnson. They're the reason why I do a lot of it. I have this suit because they got me this suit. You know, I'm wearing a small car right here. It's $10,000. I can't buy that. They just hooked me up because of the Fox analyst gig. You know, thank God I was on Fox, or else I'd probably still be wearing some JCPenney threads. You know what I'm saying? Because for the fight itself, it's a prize fight. That's all we get paid for. We don't get paid to train every single day. You know, you guys get paid every day to write a report, wake up the next day, do your 9 to 5. You get paid every day. We don't. We have to just keep working and working and cross our fingers that we go to get both the win bonus and the show-up bonus on weight. It's always a gamble in this sport.
Master question. The UFC's new headquarters has a bunch of rooms named after different fighters. The Anderson Silva Conference Room, Chuck Liddell Lounge. If you had a room named after you, what would it be?
That's a good question. I don't want a room name. I don't want to have a room name for a place that has rehab because I'm tired of rehab. I want to fight. How about we'll say No Surrender Cruz.
Just for the main event, how do you see Aldo McGregor going?
Aldo McGregor is a beautiful fight. I don't want to give too much. I'll be on Periscope explaining what I think tonight. If you guys want to check out, you'll be getting my full Fox analytics on my Periscope, so check it out. But it's such an awesome fight because both these guys believe in themselves. I have so much respect for both of them because of their belief in themselves. The hardest thing about fights like this is saying what you're going to do and following through with it. It's not just showing up to fight. That's the easy part. The easy part would be if we didn't have to do all this before and back up what we say here, right? That's why TJ's scared to talk, because this is the hard part. The easy part is showing up on the night of that fight knowing your abilities are going to be there. He knows on the night of that fight he'll be ready to fight, TJ. I know on the night of the fight I'm going to be ready to fight. But who has the balls to say it beforehand? Conor McGregor does, Aldo does. Aldo's put it online. He hasn't said a lot, but he said a lot. He has a hard time because of the language barrier. That's what's been hard for him to deal with. It's not because he can't talk. Jose Aldo's a champion, 7-time world champion. Hard to beat. Hasn't been beaten in how many years? Guys seemed unstoppable. Both these guys are going to go in there and throw it all down, and you know, the style clash of matchups is very different. You got Conor McGregor, very fluent movement. He even switches stances at times. He's up and down, so you're not getting a real read of whether he's low or whether he's high, whether you want to kick him or whether you want to knee him or whether you want to punch him with boxing. He's a southpaw, and he knows southpaw positions. So you got to think. Southpaws always have more rounds with conventional fighters than conventional fighters have with southpaws because there's more conventional fighters than southpaws. So how many more rounds does McGregor have against a conventional fighter than Aldo has against a southpaw? That's real. That's a real problem. Not to mention, Jose Aldo uses which kick more than anything to dismantle his opponents? The right low kick. Is that there against a southpaw? No, it's now become an inside kick. And when you throw an inside kick, your head goes down the center line for a southpaw to fire a left straight. What's Conor McGregor's favorite weapon? His left straight. Not to mention, Conor McGregor circles with that spin kick. So he's southpaw, and he'll throw the left spin kick in order to get you to walk which way? towards his power. There's all these little tricks that McGregor has that Aldo hasn't seen. Nobody's thrown spin kicks on him before. Nobody's fought rangy. And McGregor's the biggest opponent that Aldo's ever faced. Same thing with McGregor. This is the biggest guy McGregor's ever faced, the strongest guy with the most power. I think power for power, I'd match him. I really would. But fluidity is the name of the game, in my opinion, in this sport, in the evolution of the sport. And I think that McGregor has more fluidity, and he's a little bit harder to read because of that fluidity. And I think that being hard to read is the key in this sport.
Given that you've had this long layoff, and you've just said that the UFC will be really helpful for you in helping you get back in the game, get back fit, get you nicely dressed for this media obligation today. Is it a sense now that you're about to make up for lost time? You're planning a big year in 2016. How active are you hoping to be in the next 12 to 18 months?
Man, I want to be as active as I can. You just got to take it one fight at a time. You can't. Me personally, as the fighter that I am, I don't plan way ahead. I try to stay in the now, in the present, in front of you guys. Right here, I'm right now. I'm right here. I'm not. Oh, what's gonna happen if I say this tomorrow? What's gonna happen tomorrow when these interviews come out? I'm just here. I'm just talking. Half the time I black out when I talk. Sometimes it's a really bad thing, but most of the time it works out. I say I'm not too bad, but I'm just here, man. And I'm getting ready for this fight against TJ for the world title, and I'll be ready on that night. And day by day, take it.
One of the things that Conor has said in the lead up to the Aldo fight is the mental game, looking in his eyes, spending time with him, the things he's seen. You did that little media tour in Boston with TJ, did some radio appearances. You got the better of him numerous times on the air. What did you see in that moment? Did you learn about TJ Dillashaw, something that would help you, or kind of felt like how you feel he's going to approach this fight?
This is the thing with TJ, and I'll tell everybody, and I'll tell him too because he doesn't know it. Just let yourself out, man. You're trying to hide too much. He's trying to be the good guy and be Mr. Pretty Boy, and I'm all nice. He's not nice. When I said some things to him, he's doing everything he can not to let it out. He's like clenching his butt cheeks as hard as he can, like, oh, I don't want to say a cuss word. I don't want to seem like a mean guy. Like, just let it out, man, because today he let it out on UFC Insider. He started cursing me out. He said, I'm going to kill you. I can't stand you. You're talking about a bunch of nonsense. None of this matters. And I'm laughing at him like, just let it out, because that's what I'm doing. I have nothing to fear. I've gotten everything taken from me. You're going to judge me no matter what I say. You're going to judge me if I say nothing but respectful things, and you're going to judge me whether I just let it all out and say something mean that'll hurt TJ's poor little feelings. But the truth is, he just doesn't want to let it out. He doesn't want to be himself, and that's not my problem.
Would you say he's being fake? Why do you think he's doing this?
Well, I mean, I think it's hard to deal with the fact that, you've got to back up the words that you say. It's just my opinion that he's being a little bit fake, but I think that a lot of people would agree. He's kind of saying it himself. He said that he's been beating up Faber for 4 years. He said that himself. I didn't say that. I just kind of alluded to it because I had to ask him, like, I beat up your coach, man. Like, he's like, he's not my coach. I've been beating him up for 4 years. He said that, not me. I'm like, whoa. I would never say that about my teammates. My teammates help me become better. I want to build my teammates up. But the truth is, that's the only fake side I've seen of him. He says it's about confidence, but why are you bashing the guys that helped you get to where you're at? Why are you saying that you've been beating them up all for years? And then he's blaming media, he's blaming you guys, saying you guys built it into something it's not. No, you left the camp because you think you're better than all those guys, and you had to do what you had to do for yourself. Okay, I get that. We all got to do what we got to do for ourselves, but you don't got to go around telling everybody you've been beating up Faber for 4 years, who brought you up into the sport, who taught you what it was to try to be a champion, who gave you a mentality, who got you tons of followers on Instagram because he's hyping your name up. To me, that's a little lack of loyalty. Regardless of whether I like Faber or not, or whether I think he's a turd bucket, it doesn't matter. The point is, it's lack of loyalty that he shows. And that's true. Conor said that, but that's actually true. And it only pisses off TJ because it's true. The truth only hurts when you believe it about yourself. When I say things to TJ and he gets mad and he wants to punch me in my face 5 weeks early, it's because I'm saying things that he believes himself. If he didn't believe him, he wouldn't get so mad. He can say whatever he wants to me, but he can't.
Are you still the real champ of the weight division?
I believe I am. That's why I'm here. I'm not going to go in there and fight this guy and not believing I'm the best in the world. I believe that I am the best in the world because of the way that I prepare, I train so hard. And what creates confidence is preparation. I've been in camp a long time. I fought Mizugaki after 3 years out and did what I needed to do. I was blessed to have that win so quickly. I planned on fighting a 3-round war with him. If you would have asked me before that fight what's going to happen, I said it's probably going to go the distance, and I'm going to have to be smart with my shots, not take a lot of damage, and because he's extremely durable. And I said that before the fight, and I went out there and knocked him out in a minute. That happened because I'm not forcing things. You can't force things. You can't, some people like to say what they're going to do when they're going to do it. I like to not force things. I like to let things happen as they come because of the preparation that I put in. I put in a ton of work, a ton of preparation to give me the confidence to speak in front of you guys with clarity. And that confidence is going to shine on that night of the fight. And no matter what your judgments are, I have the confidence that I'm going to go out there and win.
How the comparison between you and him, though, is something that bothers you?
No, it doesn't bother me. That's just the uneducated eye comparing two people. I know because I know what I'm seeing. I know what I'm doing. He probably knows because he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's seeing in his own mind. Even though he's not so bright, he still has his own take on things. So I think that people comparing us just kind of an uneducated eye. And to be honest, it's been an uneducated eye watching me fight before I got hurt. People are explaining, if you listen to the color commentary in my fights, they don't know what I'm doing. They're saying it's awkward, it's herky-jerky, he's all over the place. He just makes people feel weird because he's awkward. No, that's the plan. There's a reason I'm doing that. I'm taking away power side. I'm attacking the weak side. I'm doing things to shut down weapons, and that's what makes people look bad. A lot of the time, people didn't know what I was doing, but that was just me being a little bit of a step ahead of what was going on. It doesn't mean anything except that it's an uneducated eye watching something that's a little step ahead, and that's just my opinion that we're not alike at all in our styles. It's just some people don't know what they're seeing.
And do you see anything alike then? And is there anything?
Well, I mean, there's some things because we're still fighting. There's only so many ways to fight. There's only so many ways to punch people and set up punches and set up kicks and set up combinations. So you're going to see certain movements that are going to be similar. You're going to see certain things, especially with the evolution of sport. I was one of the best in the division at one time. I still am. But I'm talking about when I cleared out the division, people have to look at me and take something. You have to, otherwise you're silly. So he also had to emulate my style in order to prepare for his teammates. He admitted that too. That doesn't mean he's trying to be me. It doesn't mean he stole my style. It just means that certain things he kind of picked up organically because he was trying to be me for his teammates.
Do you feel like you've changed the game? I mean, you talked about when you're in the WC, he's jumping, he's dancing, he's moving. Now you see guys trying to emulate you. Julian Arisa on the Ultimate Fighter
was doing it. People are doing it. People are, and I don't want to say that. I don't want to sit here and boast and say I changed the game. That was the goal, isn't it? Like, look at Muhammad Ali. I took something from him in boxing. Look at how fluidly he moves, how light on his feet he was, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He's floating. He was the only heavyweight in the world to float, right? Nobody else did that. So I said, nobody's doing that in MMA right now. If you look at MMA when I was fighting before I got injured, everybody was very blocky. Their feet are stationary. And I said, I need to change. Something needs to be different here. Something needs to change. Something can be added to this. And I just brought a different take to it. I didn't get all the highlight reel knockouts because of that, because you got to give and take sometimes. The movement, the fluidity, sometimes can take away from your power if you're not setting your feet and sitting down on your punches. But then I'm taking less damage than anybody in the division because of that as well. So it's got to be what you're willing to give and take. I'm willing to take away a little power in order to not let you touch me, because I don't want you to touch me. Just don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. That's how I feel.
You prepared for a 3-round war with Mizugaki. You're prepared for a 5-round war with Dillashaw. But do you feel like your typical style is very dominant? You pitch shutouts. When you had a decision, it was 50-45 most of the time or whatever. Do you feel like it can be that same way with TJ?
Yes, I do feel I can absolutely do that. But see, fighters and people will never give credit for that, even though it's a shutout, even though it's a clinic I'm putting on these guys. The uneducated eye says, but he didn't knock them out. Yeah, but I put a clinic on. If that fight would have gone on for another 10 rounds, what would that guy look like? He would have got knocked out probably. That's why the ref said, we better call this at 5. He just schooled him for 5 rounds. That's why there's a limit on rounds, so we don't kill each other. We're weird pit bulls. You ever seen a pit bull on a leash? They'll go to sleep pulling on the leash so hard. That's what we do as fighters. So 5 rounds is there to save us both, and that 5 rounds is going to be there to save TJ too. He's going to need it.
Rockhold seems to have identified in Weidman that when things get a little tougher, he gets frustrated, he kind of sacks up and sets his teeth. TJ seems to do that too, right? You'll try to make him do that.
Well, I'm just gonna go in there and fight, man. He believes that he hits harder than me. That's fine. These are all his opinions that he stated. Again, opinions, not facts. There's no way to know until you fight somebody. So I'm about stating facts, and the facts are, I don't know how hard he hits until I get in there. He doesn't know if he can even hit me hard until he's in there. But when you look at the analytics and you look at the numbers, chances are he's going to have a hard time hitting me with that power. And when you look at the analytics and you look at the numbers, chances are if he does hit me, it's going to hurt because he hits hard. He's knocked people out, right? Common sense. So you just got to play to those things, and that's all you can do is try to favor the numbers and the percentages in your way. Sway them your way, because no matter who they are, no matter what you do, there's never 100% chance you're going to win a fight. I don't care. That's why you guys have these jobs. That's why the fans want to watch mixed martial arts today. You watch boxing, sometimes you can go, there's a 100% chance you're not going to knock out Mayweather. You can't do that in MMA. I don't care who they are. So that's what makes the sport interesting. So all you can really do is bring the numbers the best you can in your favor. And preparation mixed with confidence creates that.
You know, as Fox, as an analyst, you ever have to bite your tongue when you're watching a fight and say, these guys are bad? You know, I don't like what these guys are doing at all. You ever have to sit,
I don't know if you've ever watched, but I kind of just say it. Yeah, I mean, I've said it before.
Yeah.
I've said these guys need to pick it up, and that's not because I think I'm better, but that's because I'm trying to explain to the world what needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's my job, not to have an emotional opinion about these guys, but to actually say what's going on. And yeah, sometimes things need to change. The only thing you can't do that with is the women's division. You gotta bite your tongue with the women's division because you just have to.
Why is that?
Because it's just the way the world works. Culture. And I have no problem with that.
Is that a directive from the broadcasters?
No, definitely not. But it's just, it's a new sport that they're evolving. Look at the sport 10 years ago for mixed martial arts for men. Gracie was dominating the sport because the sport just needed to evolve. I see women's MMA doing the exact same thing.
Johanna's chucked it out.
Huh?
Johanna's chucked it out.
Correct. She's schooling people. Johanna's schooling girls. She had a shutout the last fight, and people are like, "Oh, she didn't knock her out." Dude, she schooled that girl. It was a nasty fight, and she's nasty. But the women's division isn't, in my opinion, caught up to the men's division yet because they haven't had as long. Ronda Rousey set the precedent for that division, and without Ronda Rousey, none of these women would have as much of a push, I don't think, as they do. But I truly believe that the women's division is going to be just as good and just as crafty and just as skilled as the men's division eventually. Just give it some time. It's brand new. You got to give them time to evolve, and that's what it's about.
How much do you think fans have changed during your absence in the sport? Do you think they're in a better place to appreciate what you do now than before when you were dominating the division? You felt like maybe you weren't getting the credit you were deserved? Do you think it's completely changed?
Definitely, but I'll say this too. A lot of the reason why I wasn't getting the credit is because I wasn't willing to. I didn't know how to say what I needed to say. You know, here I am. I've had practice now at understanding what I do and how I do it. I had to learn that. Time away from fighting didn't just hurt me, it made me better at more than just fighting, at understanding what I was doing, what other people were doing, why what I did worked, and talking and being able to verbalize what I do and how I do it. It was kind of my job to explain to the world what I was doing because nobody else knew, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So that's kind of partially my fault.
Can you give an example, like back then? Like maybe you just didn't know what to say, you should have said something different?
I'm doing it right now. Listen to me now. There's an example for it. Listen to me now, listen to me then. I don't know. I'm not trying to do anything different except do what I've learned and what I've grown into at 30 years old. I was 26 when I got injured. That's 4 years. That's a college degree for everybody. I've had a college degree in this sport since I've been out in many different things. And that's including training, including rehab, how to fix the body, how to repair it when you beat it up, what needs to be said and how you need to say it. and how to break down fights.
All that time off, like you've been off for 4 years, you've had one fight in that time. How did you deal with that mentally? I mean, was there a time where you thought that this is it, I'm just done with it, and I need to walk away?
No, you can't. Well, yeah, to an extent, you say, I got to hang up the gloves so that you accept the injury. When you accept the injury, you can let go of control. When you let go of control, you heal. And you guys can't control what I say here, but you're begging for me to say something terrible. Begging for me to say something that can make the front page and a headline. You know what I mean? But you can't control it. So imagine how crazy you'd go if you had to sit and think like, man, I wish I could control this guy and make him say what I want him to say. But you guys have all sat here and said, I can't control him. I accept that. Hopefully he says something cool that I want to listen to. It's the same thing with injuries. You got to accept the injury. You got to just say, I can't control what this thing's doing to my body. And when you do that, you got to hang up the gloves to do that for a minute and then focus your energy on evolving in a different aspect of your life. I look at like God gave me these circumstances to force me to look at other areas of my life, and he's done that. And that's why I can stand here and talk with confidence today, because I've done that. Instead of sit in my sorrows and be sad about being hurt, I've changed my focus to evolving and growing and trying to become a better person outside of fighting. Because fighting doesn't make me what I am. I've said that several times. This is just fun now. Like, I'm literally having fun now.
When you are fighting a guy, you're slowly trying to control him, get him to do what you want him to do, trick him into things. There is a control game in fighting another man, right?
Yeah, and the whole fight is control to an extent, but sometimes it's also about making the other fighter feel like they're in control. So you got to mix it up back and forth.
So you and Aldo came over from the WEC as champions. Does it mean anything to you that one of your former WEC champions is now headlining the biggest event, arguably in UFC history?
I mean, really, if you look at the past of the WEC, at one point, every single weight class that was in the WEC was a champion in the UFC. Aldo, I've watched him since his first fight in the WEC. I was in my second fight in the WEC against a guy, Charlie Valencia. He was on the same card. And I remember watching him thinking he's a monster then. So, I mean, watching Aldo grow in the sport and just dismantle people, being a part of not just my own dynasty, but in the time that he's been in it is pretty cool.
So I guess you're not surprised he's still champion?
No
then?
way. Not at all. I'm not surprised Aldo's champion.
Donald has talked about sort of the value of having